Hello, I'm here to talk about the first 6 minutes of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. So the movie seems to be pretty polarizing between the fan base. People either love it, people either hate it. I don't like it that much. But by and large, it seems to be relatively unanimous that everyone likes the first 6 minutes of this movie. They wet themselves over it. They just shit all over the place. So, I'm going to talk about that. So we begin with a submarine in a pond. These two dudes are here looking for the bones of the evil Frankenstein monster that plagued the last movie. Why? To get its DNA. Why do they want its DNA? I don't know. That's the conversation for another time. Point is that they're there. Wouldn't they have DNA banks for this thing? Like, this was a corporate creation. Wouldn't they have DNA banks in the lab? Samples? Something. Like, this can't be the only way to acquire the DNA for this creature. Now, also, not only that, but at the end of the last movie, I seem to remember the doctor, the evil Frankenstein doctor, absconding the scene with multiple samples. His arms were full of cases and samples and vials of DNA. This creation that he made had to be in one of those boxes. So why are they there gathering the bones of this thing? It's fucking dumb. Oh god.
You're very sweaty in that shot. I just got...
So even if there wasn't a way to fuck, what am I trying to say? I wrote it down there. She was sticks with it. Presumably it's possible for a cleanup crew to come to the island after the events of the last movie and get in there and get everything that they need. Let's think of the threats that are still on the island. Everything is still in the enclosure. All they let out of their boxes was the T-Rex, which was stupid, by the way. That's also another conversation for another day. They let the raptors out. There's only one surviving raptor, and it's practically housebroken. And all the flying reptiles got out, but I seem to remember them not being that much of a threat after the initial attack. So, all there is there's a T-Rex and a velociraptor out on the island that's really posing a threat. It seems like people know how to deal with T-Rexes at this point. They're kind of, they understand them, they know what makes them tick. Just do what you gotta do to get the T-Rex to go to the flare or whatever and get into your labs and get all of your assets and whatever you gotta get and then get out. It doesn't seem like it's difficult. The raptor comes to attack you, shoot it in its fucking dumb blue face. Fucking dumb lizard. Okay, cut. Alright, so back to the sub. At this point I'm thinking, oh cool. Submarine. At least we'll get a submarine attack. A scene with a submarine. You don't put a vehicle like this in a Jurassic Park movie without there being a dinosaur eating this vehicle.
Look at that big crocodile!
I do like the mosasaur. It was one of the few things I liked about the previous movie. He's cool. So here's how much the people that made this film hate the fan base and the audience watching it. Right when things are about to get good, we see a dark, ominous shape hovering behind the submarine. Now in the theaters, I was thinking, oh, nice, finally, we're gonna get this. We're gonna get a mosasaur trying to break into the submarine. How awesome would it be to see this reptile water bear trying to scrape out these guys like they're honey inside of a Folgers can? That's the scene I wanted. Instead, what happens? Cut. That's what happened. My camera operator actually thought I said cut, but no, that's what happened in the movie, a cut.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, that's how the movie left you feeling. The movie left you feeling like as angry as I just got at her for actually hitting cut when I didn't mean to cut, but I said cut because the movie cut. Anyway, no scene, nothing. It's just like you see the dark shape behind the submarine, it eats it, gone. The lights go out. You don't even know if it eats it. Lights go out. You don't know what happened to those guys. I mean, you can guess that they're dead, but where's the scene? No scene. Great. Terrible. I feel like people are gonna challenge me on this. They're gonna say, oh, it's supposed to be like that, Max. It's dark, it's ominous, it's mysterious. There's a thing in there. Okay, it's like a horror film. Okay, well, we already know what's in there. We've seen the previous movies, we've seen the trailers, right? So here's my preemptive counter to that. We had a similar scene in the first film where a Tyrannosaurus attacked an SUV. We had a similar scene in the second movie where two Tyrannosauruses attacked an RV bus. We had a similar scene in the third film where a Spinosaurus attacked an airplane. So let's talk about the SUV attack from the first film, the famous one. It's scary, mysterious, dark, tense. You don't know what's out there. You know it's out there, but you don't really know. Just like the characters in the movie. The action is played from a point of view of horror. I mean, it wasn't scary for me because I was a creepy little kid that loved animal attacks. But for normal people, it's meant to be scary. The best thing about that scene, though, is that it did not blue ball us. Now let's jump to the RV attack in The Lost World. This one is probably more comparable in that they don't want us to see the mosasaur in Fallen Kingdom. Okay, well here we have the RV attack, and we don't really see the tyrannosaurs attack the RV. We see glimpses of them through the windows. We see a few quick cuts of them smashing windows. But for the most part, we just see Jeff Goldblum say, oh my god, we're gonna get fucked. And then the fucking thing rolls over, and it's all from the point of view of the characters on the inside of the RV. And it's pretty effective. And as far as the airplane attack in Jurassic Park 3, that was a new animal. It was the reveal of the big new dinosaur. And it was also pretty good. It wasn't as good. There's a few shots that don't hold up. But it's got some tense, creepy moments. She sees it through the window, and it ducks down. It's the big ominous shape through the little porthole window in the plane, and it's coming towards the plane, and they freak out, and you don't really see it until they run out of the plane, and it's like, oh my fucking god, that's a huge ass dinosaur. Also, they did not blue ball us. I hate blue. I hate the fucking dumb lizard. I know that's not blue ball, but I hate that fucking dumb lizard. So anytime I hear blue, I'm like, fuck that thing. Okay, back to the dock. So this stuff is really proper trash. Alright, and I'll admit that it's almost the kind of trash that I can enjoy. I think my emotional investment in this franchise is keeping me from enjoying it as much as I should. It's that sort of Amazing Spider-Man 2 kind of trash. It's almost there. It's a hard kind of trash to explain. It becomes a so bad it's good kind of trash. So anyway, there's a bunch of terrible actors in a rainstorm. Some are in a helicopter. One of them's at a junction box. The other two guys are already dead in the submarine. Now, I usually don't feel like I notice bad acting in movies. I either excuse it or I subconsciously just don't notice it. It's never really bad enough for me to go, oh, well, that's really terrible. I feel like a lot of people notice that and I don't. They're like, wow, that delivery was bad. I'm like, what the fuck? I just said a word. So for me to notice it, I don't know if my own bias is getting to me or if they're genuinely bad. I think a big part of it is that in each previous Jurassic installment, guys that are like these kinds of characters, mercenaries, hunters, they're at least portrayed in a more realistic way. They have a bit of personality, they're real, not cartoony and boneheaded. The guy piloting the helicopter is just the worst, and I'll splice in a few clips of him. Guys,
what is that?
We're gonna stall! Cut it now!
Even in the previous movie, which was a horrible movie, the leader of the ACU team still had a bit of charisma about him. And you're like, yeah, this guy could probably lead a dinosaur hunting unit. Alright, so the guys in the helicopter tell the junction box dude that the specimen has been sent to the surface. This is communicated via radio. Remember that this is communicated via radio. It's important. Then they keep telling us that they need to close the gates because they think we're stupid. But I ask you, why do they need to close the gates? The guy in the submarine was sure that the mosasaurus had been dead. He said, anything in here has been fucking dead for fucking 20 years, dude. There's nothing left in here. And of course the other guy's nervous. The other guy's realistic. He's like, geez, I don't want to be in a fucking dinosaur lagoon, you know? But it seems to me like the guys are pretty sure that the mosasaur is dead. At least that one character does anyway. So why even bother with the gate? I have no doubt that a T-Rex could swim, but I don't think it's about to escape to the mainland. And later on in the movie, we hear no plans of the mosasaur. They don't plan to capture it or anything like that. It's never really spoken of again. So why not just leave the gate open, get out of there with your specimen, fucking go home and get your money? It doesn't seem like the guy really cares about that kind of deal. He's like a nefarious asshole. He just wants to use fucking money to auction off dinosaurs. Why would he give a shit if the mosasaur got out and ate a few surfers? Fuck it. Fuck that thing. So the guys in the helicopter see something big in the trees, and this is really some good trash. So if I can divorce myself from my love of the franchise, this is really good. This is one of those things that makes me sit and think, did the producers not sort this out a second? Just take 1 second, guys, and see if this works. Just think it through. They start yelling at the junction box guy. Remember that they just communicated to each other on the radio. The guys in the helicopter are screaming at him through a deafening thunderstorm, waving flashlights and screaming at him when he's wearing a headset. Get on the fucking radio. So anyway, this is so fucking stupid. You might say the junction box guys, the junction box guy and the guys in the submarine are the only ones that had comlink. No. The guys in the helicopter were talking to them too. So we all know that they're on the same radio channel. Why are they waving to him, screaming at him through the rain, through the thunder, through the wind to come here? There's a dinosaur in the trees. It makes no sense. Get on the radio. They're still listening to this junction box guy whine and bitch about the fucking gate not closing. I don't know why he gives so much of a shit. Is the mosasaur his pet? Is he like the fucking Rain Corps guy? My only thought would be, maybe they don't fucking like this guy, so they're doing the bare minimum to say that they tried to save his life. That's my only theory that would make sense. But I don't think that's the case. You're on a dinosaur island, right? Right? Like, these on a dinosaur island.
Yep.
Yeah. When the big meathead paramilitary hunter dudes are like waving their flashlights and screaming, you don't fucking stand up and look into the rain. You're like,
Right.
what? Run over to them. You're like, what's wrong, guys? What? Tell me. And he was like, we need to fucking get out of here. We'll come back and close the gate if we have to. Where's the fucking T-Rex? No, he stands in the rain like a fucking limp wet chudster, and he just screams and he's like, what? What? Glad he's fucking dead. He deserved it, dude. Are his fucking mental faculties challenged? Right? Like, did they get him on discount because he's an ignoramus? The dude turns around, he sees it, takes a moment, takes a stroll in the fucking in the sunroom, and then he screams at it. And then the T-Rex must be scared too because it screams back. Like, they're both scared of each other. They're like, whoa! And then he screams a little more. And then he stands there a little more and he screams, and then he casually jogs away from the T-Rex. And that's hardly an exaggeration. If this were me in a terrible situation, and if I had not seen the guys waving and yelling at me, and I just turn around and there's a T-Rex there, I don't know that I would scream. It'd probably be more of like a jolt. Like, oh shit. I might be frozen in fear, but I don't think I would scream. I might yelp, but I don't think my next action would be like, So luckily enough, the T-Rex also screams, just like an apex predator would do, right? And this is going to take us down a long road. So let's talk about the T-Rex roaring before it attacks. This bugs the shit out of me. All right, let's think about this for a second. Now, I'm no dinosaur expert, but I've dabbled pretty deep into dinosaurs as just being a casual dinosaur pervert. And the Tyrannosaurus was a rather robust animal. Some might say the most robust land carnivore that ever existed. It's said to have had the strongest bite force of any land carnivore that ever existed as well, by a long shot. And this tells me that the animal is in fact a predator. Why? Well, I'm not discounting that the T-Rex wouldn't eat a dead thing if it came across it, because in nature, opportunity is essential. But it was probably also an ambush predator. It had tiny arms which tell me that it was streamlined for balance, which means that it moved, and it would try to move quickly relative to its size. Now that doesn't mean it was the fastest creature that ever lived, but with something that's 40 feet long, it probably moved pretty well. I have no doubt it would give chase or pounce, or it would sit and wait for something to come along and it would snag it. Whatever got in those jaws was not meant to be getting loose, so if it bit it, the thing was not escaping. Something like that evolves and develops for a reason. And on top of the real-world analysis of this animal, let's take a look at the dinosaur within the realms of the world of the Jurassic Park franchise. We've seen actively that the T-Rex is a master ambush predator in these movies. Here's two glaring examples. In the first movie, the T-Rex goes after a Gallimimus. right? We don't hear it, we don't see it. They kind of shift direction because they can probably like, oh shit, there's a big thing in the woods. We can smell it maybe. And then it crashes out of the trees and it makes hardly any sound except a little bit of a trumpet, which sounds like it's more of an exasperation. Like, oh, I'll fucking catch these things. I'm a atrophied fucking zoo dinosaur. I can't hunt like I should be able to. But it doesn't roar at the Gallimimus before it tears it apart. And then, you know, Alan Grant's fucking jerking off on it and shit. Look how it eats. Yeah, look how it... I guess Timmy's jerking off on it. And Alan's like, yeah, it fucking looks good, doesn't it? Birds, you ever seen them eat the same way? Alright, and then again in the same movie, at the end, the T-Rex expertly ambushes a much smaller, faster, and more agile predator, completely silent in an alien environment compared to its own habitat. That's how we know the T-Rex is a master ambush predator. And, to put it on top of that, within the lore of the films, this is the same animal that did that. Like the exact same animal. So we know that this T-Rex is the one that masterfully hunted those animals in the previous film. And then later on in this film, there's two examples of this T-Rex again masterfully ambushing other things. He kills another dinosaur and it kills another human without making a sound. So why is this T-Rex taking a second to roar at this guy before it goes after him? Somebody might say, but oh Max, the T-Rex is being territorial. Okay. But it's trying to eat the guy. I'm guessing it's trying to eat the guy. It's like... I know that its head is its only weapon, essentially, but it's trying to eat him, you know? I'm really banking on the filmmakers not putting that much thought into why the T-Rex is chasing the guy. They just thought, let's put the T-Rex there to chase the guy because people remember the T-Rex. Plus, if it was a territorial display, surely enough, the T-Rex would know that the mosasaur dominates the pond, right? That's evidenced by the T-Rex simply being alive this long and not yet being eaten by the mosasaur. Because let's face it, T-Rex is the king on the land, but the mosasaur is like, if anything walks up to the bank of this pond, it's gonna fucking eat it. And the T-Rex must know this because it's still alive. Because in the last movie, it fucking ganked that other thing. So, I really don't think that the T-Rex is being territorial. I think it's being stupidly written. Okay, so the guy runs away, finally after 6 hours of screaming at the T-Rex. And the helicopter starts to take off and he jumps onto the rope ladder. Okay, great. I'm thinking, I'm going to get a fucking scene of a T-Rex attacking a helicopter. Maybe it'll get its head in the helicopter or something. Maybe it'll grab on to something more than just the rope ladder. None of that happens, and I'm sad about it. That's sad. And yeah, I know I just complained about the T-Rex, why it shouldn't be there. But since we're here, since there's a helicopter, since there's people on the helicopter, let's have the T-Rex attack the helicopter. And it almost does. We get so close. But then the rope ladder snaps off. And then the helicopter hovers over the pond. And I'm like, oh, great. The mosasaur is going to attack the helicopter. How great would it be if the mosasaur grabbed the helicopter, dragged it into the water, like Jaws 2 or something, and these guys are in the helicopter and they're trying to get out as they're sinking down and the mosasaur's trying to crack the dome of the helicopter. That would have been a cool thing that we've never seen before in Jurassic Park. Finally give the mosasaur its time to shine. No, we don't get that either. That's not there. And instead of all these wonderful action scenarios, later on in the movie we get 12 minutes of people running down a hill. And that's not an exaggeration. I've timed it. It's about 12 minutes of them running down a hill. They swim a little bit, but it's about 12 minutes. And then the entire last portion of the movie is 18 hours of people running around in an old house. Fuck me, dude. Let's talk about this title card real fast. Sabrina, do you like the title card?
No. It's very cartoony, and I remember when we first saw it, you were like, what the fuck is this?
In the theater?
Yeah, in like the first minute of the movie, and I was like, oh.
It's really bad. The title card's really fucking bad. I can't believe it. I can't believe that they would have that.
Yeah.
Isn't it so out of place?
The music, the cartoony lava, it's very weird.
It's like a Marvel's movie.
Right.
It's like a Iron Man or something. It's pretty bad. So this first 6 minutes of this movie sucks, guys. I'm out. Bye.